Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's good to have you here. I appreciate it. I am already seeing lots of people in the chat, and that makes me feel very good. So thank you. Today is Tarot the Stash Way, and I am doing some basic numerology, ace through the tens. So looking forward to that with you. Let me get caught up in chat. Beautiful, beautiful group here. I am waiting for my notice to pop. So there we are. Or I don't know if we're there, but I am seeing it. Am I having mic issues? Am I having mic issues? Yes, robotic, lots of static. I will be right back. Hello, let's try this. Is this better? Is this better? She needs to go outside. Oh, hello. Can someone tell me if the volume, if my sound is better, please? Yes, better. Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm glad to be here, as I said, and this is the tarot, the stash way. We're talking about basic numerology, and this is, of course, for entertainment purposes only. So we will do that. Let me move something here because I have a whole bunch of stuff on my table to be able to help. So that's very good. And my dog is moving around and I'm like, what's going on, Maddie? What do you need? What do you need? So, all right. I want to get caught up on chat. So thank you for being here. Like and subscribe. And I see your question, Heather. So hello, Indigo Chrysalis, Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts. Spiritual Rain is here. Amy Smiling Love and Light. Hello. And Jane the Seeker is here. Hello, Jane. And by the way, next Tuesday, it is Tuesdays with Tarot Stash exclusively on Jane the Seeker Tarot. So like and subscribe over there. All right, just getting caught up. I love this. Okay, Jane has her notebook out, so this is good. A lot of static. Okay, we fixed that. Purple Elephant Deb H is here. Hello. And Lorraine Morris is here. Hello. I've probably missed some people. Kathy Tortoiseshell Moon. Hello. And Natalie is here. Hello. All right. Let me. And the voice of Jeffrey. We are holding on that until Monday, the 21st of November, where we're actually going to do the Fool's Journey through the Minors. And so when you actually see, let's see, when you see this person, Jadair Al, that is Jeffrey. So he is actually in the room with me, and he's going to be popping some things in the chat. Somebody's knit lurking. Are you knit lurking? Julie Kuchia Watts is knit lurking. And Lorraine, yes, I did tease you. I had mentioned yesterday that Jeffrey was going to be on, and he decided that he didn't want to actually come on today. So I'm not going to argue. Newly married, you've got to keep people happy. So, and did you see? Let's see, Jeffrey, Purple Elephant Deb H said, "Congratulations." So, um, and yeah, and Peter J. Watts said, "I see you, Gerald. Hi, Jeffrey. Fox with a book is here. Hello, Fox with a book." And Jane the Seeker said, Jadair Al, I feel like I've met you. So that's fun. And Zane is here, Tarot Token Witchery. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, Heather's like, keeping the peace. Exactly. And so for those of you who, if you're joining me for the first time with for Tarot the Stash Way, this is when I'm sharing how I approach the tarot, and you may want to approach the tarot the same way. If you do, great. If you don't, great. You do you. And I lost my little tag. Here we go. So Tarot the Stash Way. There is a playlist linked below, and please leave comments if you have other ideas of things that you would like to see me talk about. I'm very happy to do that. The whole idea of this is that I encourage you to take notes, and I want you to have ultimately, I want you to have a notebook that you can use for when you need help with the tarot. And we all do tarot in our own way, and we encourage that, or I encourage that. And with that in mind, there are amazing resources available, lots of resources online. YouTube has wonderful, amazing resources. I encourage you to find the ones that resonate with you. Do that, and have fun. There are amazing books out there, and if you've watched previous videos, you've heard me say, pick the one that resonates for you, and then pick one that challenges you a little bit. The one that resonates with me is the Robin Wood Tarot, the book by Robin Wood. This has been very helpful for me. And then the other book that is challenging me and stretching me a little bit is the book Holistic Tarot by the lovely Benabel Wynn, who, if you were watching my live, you saw the Spirit Keepers Tarot deck casual with Jamie from Wandering Mountain Bardic Path, Zane from Tarot Toke and Witchery, and the creator, Benabel Wynn. The Spirit Keepers Tarot Revelation Edition second printing is up for pre-order. So if you would like that, please know your limits and purchase responsibly. So, boom. So make sure you do that. So, okay. Y'all are love this. Lots of activity in the chat. So I'm going to take a sip. Today is November 1st, 2022. Happy Day of the Dead. However you celebrate. All right. Fox with a book said hello, everyone. And kudos to Zane for spelling Jeffrey's name correctly. Thank you. Peter J. Watts and Julie Kucha Watts are going to be the next people who are asking questions for the hashtag back and forth with Jamie and Gerald. So, and all right, just getting caught up. And Thank you, Lorraine. I appreciate that you're loving these chats. I am enjoying them as well. I have a couple of other things that I have planned. One of them, of course, is the the Fool's Journey through the Minors, which is coming up on the 21st. What I would like to do, and I'm looking at you, Heather, Indigo, Jaguar, Intuitive, and a couple of other people have expressed interest in learning. I'm wondering if you might be willing to come on and we talk about learning about tarot. Putting people on the spot right now. Please say no, please say yes, whatever. Send me an email if that is something, because I think it's a good idea to understand that people learn about tarot and deepen their understanding about tarot in different ways, and all of them work. So, um, oh, Amy, everything's fine. Jane the Seeker's like, woohoo. Lorraine said that sounds amazing. So, oh, there you go. And Heather said, I would love to, Gerald. Of course, I'll email you later. Okay. So, um, so some, okay, I've talked about your resources. And again, resources are very helpful. I encourage you to really get your piece of paper and your notebook and you take notes. Lori Tries Life did a nice video about preparing your tarot learning book, and just definitely keep a journal and have bits and pieces. My goal for you is that when you're reading and you need some support, let's say you have something associated with water and then you have a two, you can pull out two pieces of paper and you can look at them and see how they relate. So, um, all right. So, early on, I'm trying to stay up with this. Early on, Heather, Indigo, Jaguar Intuitive Arts asked me, I have a question, Gerald, and I'm not sure if this is going off topic for this segment, but do you or have you ever used tarot cards and or oracle cards in spell work? The short answer is yes, I have. And it is a wonderful tool. It depends upon how you use tarot. I use tarot to help me have a clearer understanding of what the working I'm doing and my life in general. And so I think that definitely can help. All right. So, and perhaps we can talk a little bit about that. That's actually mid-level. So, I'd love to see a show about everyday magic. Like oh, yes. And Basil is coming up here in November, and that is with medium Betsy Palmer. So, absolutely love that. And Spiritual Rain said, Tarot Stash, you talked about your zip up grounding morning routine. Started that yesterday. Very powerful. Thank you. You're welcome. I am so glad about that. I did see Sherry H, Voices from the Swamp. Hello. Good to see you. And Gerald, how would you like to talk about Oracle decks on my channel? I don't use oracles very much, Amy. I'm not probably the best person to do that. But it's a good topic. I want you to do it, so please do it. I've seen books over the years and was curious. Thank you. Oh, yeah. It really helped me. Good. Um, all right. Just getting caught up. Benji is here. Ben, you changed your name since yesterday. Good to see you. To me, magic is all about utilizing the mind. Everyone does magic every day without knowing. So, using a card as a point of focus for the mind can be very powerful. Well said, Ben. Well said. Jeffrey says, Tarot spell work. That's exciting and powerful stuff. Love it. Lisa Rhodes, hello. Yes, I feel so far behind on tarot and all. All right, now this is directed not at Lisa, but for everybody who is learning tarot. You are exactly where you should be. If you want to learn more, then learn more. If you are okay where you are, then be okay with it. So I just say, calm down and enjoy where you are. Get a notebook out. And this is actually, I think, I'll be serious here for a moment. What really helped me is when I started taking things that I learned and was writing them down. Very, very helpful. Very helpful. Um, Lots of good books: Holistic Tarot, 78 Degrees of Wisdom, um, and if you can, the Mary K. Greer book, Tarot for Yourself, does a lot with numerology, as well as like the Book of Complete Correspondences. It has numbers in there. So there's a lot of good information in there. Okay, you're all so patient waiting for me to go on. So let's get started. Robin Toadstool Terra says, I'm okay where I'm at, but a bit extra never hurts. I agree with you. And that is where I think conversations like this, and maybe one that I have with Heather, is it could broaden everybody's understanding. It's one of those things that I learn a lot by watching people read tarot, and I'm listening and I'm learning along. So um, oh, Carla Astrology is here. Hello, Carla. I was just on Carla's channel on Sunday for shadow work. Naomi is here. Hello, Naomi. And all right. So thank you, Gerald. I'm a novice RWS student. I'm taking a course from Hay House, and I also learning from my friends, watching videos and learning from others. I think it's a great thing to do. Always learning, always learning. So, um, so one of the other things that I have found, oh, Jane the Seeker says, I saw his shadow. Yes, you did see his shadow. I wanna talk about Benabel Wynn on her website gives you amazing tools that are free. And one of the things that she has there is it's called a elemental and numerological correspondences handout. And this is one thing, it looks like this. This is Benabel Wins. Go over there. It's free to download. It's one of the things that I have as a resource. So it's quite good. I am also using a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, when you get a tarot deck with a book, sometimes they will have guides that will help you. Not all of them will break it down, the numbers, just for the basic numerology. Not all of them will do that. But I appreciate it when they do, because numerology is another aspect to add a layer to how you are reading tarot. I'm going to take a sip and let you think about that. Numerology is a way for you to add an additional layer to your work with tarot. Because we have the major arcana, which is 0 through 21, and then we have the minor arcana. I'm looking over at Jeffrey. He made a look, and you know how it is. Somebody looks at you, you pay attention. Um, he's just watching me. Um, and so you have, for the minors, you have the ace through the 10, I was going to say the jack, the the page, the knight, the queen, and the kings. and I've already done the court cards. So I'm actually looking at uh, focusing on 1 through 10. Now, you can also consider the major arcana 1 or 0 through 22 or 21. But when you get into double digits, like 10, you have 1 and a 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. So that 10 reduces down to 1. So there is an aspect of what you find in ones with the tens, and then you have the 11, which is 1 plus 1 is 2. So there is some relationship to that. Um, Tortoiseshell Moon says, I'm currently studying the Tarot de Marseille, so this numerology episode will come in very handy for me. Very good. I'm glad, Kathy. Um, yeah, Sherry H. Husbands can't kill them. What do? You just love them a whole lot. Spiritual Rain said, when you paint, you add layers. It creates more depth. I love that you likened that to the tarot with numerology. Well, thank you. Heather, I want to know what it is that you struggle with the numerology or with the numbers, because here's the thing. I think, again, this is Tarot the Stash Way. You can pay attention to the numbers in tarot, or you can not pay attention to the numbers in tarot, or you can do it sometimes. It's what works. I know I watched Chris Elemental Cartomancy, whose birthday, by the way, is today, November 1st. What he does is because he's a math sort of guy, he actually totals up the number of all of the cards that were laid out and then reduces them down, and then adds another layer. So I think that's an important thing to consider as well. So if you would like to ask me a question, please type it all in capital letters so that I can see it. And I'm going to start with the number 1. Number 1. So, number ones, when we think number ones, blah, 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 I'm trying to do too much. If you were to write down, when you think of the number 1, what do you think of? Just in general, what do you think about when you think of number 1? There you go. Let's start at the very beginning. There's a song reference there and a movie reference. So, Naomi Hewitt, hello, Naomi said, start, yes. Newness, yes. Benji said, I think of the dawn, the morning, a spark of light, yes. Sherry H picked that up, a very good place to start. Robin Toadstool Tarot said, beginning, being alone, 1 is the loneliest number, yes. Jeffrey said, something new, singles, it's the loneliest number, yep. Movement, opportunity, and initiation. When I think of the number 1, this is the card of beginning. Like Benji said, initiation. So, and when I think about this, the 1 in particular, the ace, I like to think of the ace is having all of the potential of that suit in one card. So it's the seed that holds everything together. And this is so aces are definitely beginnings. They're the start of something. As I said, it's the seed, it's the root seed, it's the impetus, the initiation, and the start. And it's and depending upon which suit it is, it can actually have everything is boiled down, and it is in that one, in that number. Um, all right. It's like a springboard, a thing to take flight from. Yes. From 1 to 10 is 1 is the least. Yes. Catalyst. Yes. Benji said it's the most spiritual number in Kabbalah. It's an ethereal aspect that we are, as mere mortals, can't touch. I don't know much about Kabbalah, and that may be a future laugh and learn. So I think about aces or ones. It's definitely a beginning of something, and this is as I said, the aces have the whole potential of the suit in them, and so this is. I mean, it has so much potential when you see an ace. So one could also be alone. Yes, it is a prime number, absolutely. And what we can do a bit later in a future video is talk about how those numbers will relate. The other thing about the number one is it's an odd number, meaning that it's not an even number, not that it's weird. So, um, so that's something there. Now, I'm going to move on to the number two. I want to keep this moving because you are all so wonderful. Thinking about the number two. Spiritual Rain said, one is pure, naked, and innocent. And Robin said, Toadstool Tarot said, funny how the invention of tarot couldn't leave things alone with one as being the beginning. They had to add zero to the deck. Well, actually, yes, a zero is a number. It's nothing, and nothing comes before something. So I am really appreciating what you are all adding in the chat. This is great. So I'm trying to put up the chats so that you can see them and capture them in your notebooks. Benji said, I think of initiation with the number two as well as partnership. Naomi said understanding and balance. And then we have pairing. Two is partnership. Rain said, two for me is balance, union, duality. Two, pairing, coupling. And this is one of those things that I appreciate about this is when I think about twos, Tarot the Stash Way, is twos are about polarity. They're the dichotomy of what's going on. There is a balance to them, and there's also opposites. There is an equality about them as well because it's even, it's balanced. There are also, when I like to think of this as they're complements. You have one thing and the other. I think those are also thing. Um, that's also the twos. They're two things at the same time. Think about that. Getting caught up on chat. Um, balance was old with something new. Yes. Rain said, I have a list that I found that one is associated with fire and the sun, two is moon and water. Rain, I agree with you. I have that belief as well, in particular because two is associated with the high priestess. I like that word duality as well. Good and evil, absolutely. Yin and yang. Two could be splitting two, separating either four, black or white, positive or negative. Yes. You could also think of, I will sometimes think of the twos as double the one. So it's twice as much as the one, which could actually have something key to add to it. Benji said, three is Jupiter, four is Uranus, Rahu, five is Mercury, six is Venus, seven is Ketu, Neptune, eight is Saturn, and nine is Mars. Ooh, I will be adding that to my list. That's an Indian tradition. Thank you. I appreciate that. Reflection, yes. hmm So thinking about the twos, we have this ability of there's a it's a sense of balance because there's two aspects. Um, this is if we take it off of the ace or the one uh, as the card at the beginning of the full potential, this is also the card where the aspects of that suit start to have tension with each other. Now, it's a minor arcana, so it's not as much tension, but there's the first time that we actually are having two aspects of it. And Robin Wood, in her book, actually says here uh, um, an equilibrium that reveals the first lesson of the suit being found. Think about that. Could be very insightful. Um, Twice as much as the one, so a greater, more powerful seed of the suit. Rain, it very much could be that way. Um, and it depends upon caveat, caveat, caveat. It really depends upon where it falls in the position of the spread. But yes, it's the seed that has actually started to sprout. Hi, Jonathan. Oh, two, got it. Okay, yes, two. Splitting. Splitting of the egg into reproduction. Ah, look at Jeffrey. So I like that too, Deb. The first lesson. The first lesson. So, um, and so we've been talking about the two, and this is one of those things that as you write things down on your piece of paper, I encourage you to think about where you see twos and how you feel when you see twos. Um, when you see two twos, what does that mean? But also think about where there is definitely balance. I think Benabel Wynn says quite nicely in this handout is this is an opportunity to think about the connections you have with others. What is the relationship that is between you and someone else, between you and your task or the question? So, um, to a lesson in sharing and caring. Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to move on to, let me put this up here. I'm going to move up to the threes. So threes, thinking about threes. Oh, and Robin said, when I see tutus, I do a pirouette. Oh gosh. All right. So Naomi said for threes, development, building, new growth. I like that, Naomi. I'm glad you're here. What else do you think of when you think of threes? I'm going to take a sip. I am feeling like I'm talking so much. I absolutely love these conversations. Um, Complexity, Jeffrey says. Threes to me, I think of systems and groups. Yes. Three equal completion, connection. hmm Cooperation. Yes. I like that, Heather, because we have a balance, and then you add another party, there needs to be cooperation because there could be a bit of where am I putting my energy? Who gets my attention? Third wheel on a date? Yes. Creation, adding the one and the two to create three. Everybody, hands up to Kathy. Well done. You are right. So 1 plus 2 equals 3, and that's an important number. I think the progression is extremely important. Collaboration, yes. Rain said my power just went off and on, so I lost my internet. Damn, threes. Past, present, and future. Yes, it definitely can be. Um, yep. Two's company, three's crown, or three's company. Three is Mars, fire. Very good. Jonathan added three is the first stable number, three legs of a stool. I appreciate you saying that because the three-legged stool is a very stable structure. And if Peter J. Watts is watching, he could probably give me, probably share with us a good explanation of the three and that mathematical aspect. Um, but no pressure, Peter. Hold for that. Just getting caught up. Mind, body, and spirit, yes. So everybody, make sure you are hydrating because Tarot the Stash Way can take a lot out of you. So let me pull up my notes here. And three is synthesis. It is combining. It is the ideal. And oftentimes we will think of a trinity of things. And it is the maid, mother, crone. Somebody said that. Yes, maiden, mother, crone, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. And Jonathan said, multiples of three are important to Chinese medicine. So they say that three is the foundation of everything. Very interesting. Michelle Marie, Astrological Tarot. By the way, like and subscribe to their channel because I'm going to be on later in the month. Just read a fabulous book on numerology with Tantra. I am going to mispronounce those names. But that looks good if you're interested in the numerology. Kristen Louise is here. Hi, Kristen Louise. Interesting about the stool, if you think of a tripod, it stabilizes your camera. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. My husband is a three ruled by Jupiter. I am actually, Michelle Marie, I am an 18-9 in the Mary K. Greer aspect. So I am an 18-9 and Jeffrey is a 9. So I'm three threes. So three also represents the heaven, earth, and humans standing between the two. And this is an exercise I think would be really great for people to consider or to pay attention to. When you see, as you are considering the numbers, when you think of what is the feeling when you see something by itself? What is the feeling that you have when you see two things? And what is the feeling when you have three? What's that general feeling? So traditional milking stools were three-legged. Yeah, Jeffrey said yes. And I like the idea of it's the three is the ideal of a situation. And just getting caught up on something. This is also in the three. I like to think about this this is when, because we had one and two, and then we add a third. This is the card of where we have to start mastering how we interact with each other. And in these cards, I like how when Robin Wood talks about it, she talks about what it encompasses in the suit. And she said, in these cards, the threes, The deepest attributes of the suit are first revealed. The deepest attribute of the suit is first revealed. We start to see what that can look like. This is also the time when we start to see, 1 plus 2 equals 3, and people were making a little joke about, and baby makes 3. Well, it's true because it's about fruition. And this is also about not just thinking about things, it's starting to do something. You need to do something. Peter J. Watch said 3 balances both gravity, downward force, and the horizontal shear forces. Thank you, Peter J. Watts. Benji said 3 is very spiritual number. Jupiter rules over spiritual enlightenment and higher knowledge. Robin said 3 feels to me like an energy departing from the 2. Robin Wood was such an icon. Yes, yes. 3 represents the disturbance of the perfect pair by the introduction of the third, a child or a side person, etc. Yes, and that's very true. Okay, I'm going to take a breath. Let everybody get caught up with the 3s if there's any other thoughts. And Robin said, when one moves forward with a staff, it's the staff or the third leg that's the first to move forward. Thank you for that, Robin, because I like to think about the practicality of the numbers when it relates to the tarot. I am a horrible, I am a person who I completely am an overachiever. I am an overcomplicator. I am an overthinker. Sometimes you just need to go down and go, okay, let's just look at this and see what's going on. Michelle Marie said number 3 is associated with Jupiter, the teacher of the gods, as well as a saint among Navagara, 9 planets, according to Vedic astrology. I love 3 personalities. Excellent. Love that. Love that. Okay. So we're moving on to 4s. 4s. What do you think about with 4s? When you think of the number 4 or 4s, what do you think of? Foundations, Heather, Indigo, Jaguar, Intuitive Arts, yes. Naomi, strength, structure, protection, yes. Benji, number 4 to me is structure and technology. Oh, I like that. Stability, yes. Kristen Louise. Sherry H, stability. Rain said 4s, 4 seasons, 4 elements, home, roots. And Jeffrey said foundation, basic directions. And Kathy, Tortoiseshell Moon, said 4 cardinal directions. This is where I think you're all hitting a lot of things. Yes, 4 walls to hold up a roof. There is balance. 4 is the law, Benji says. And this is where, when we think about 4s, as we've expanded out, so we had 1, then we had 2, and then we had 3, and now we have 4. 4s are when we actually start thinking about, okay, here's the structure, and what is the plan? What are we going to do with that? And so I like to think of foundation as well. It is the squaring of things. It's putting things into control. It can also be, and I got this from the first time I heard about it was from sadhana, with integrative healing with sadhana. is think about 4 is the containment of the energy of that suit. It's like putting things in a bit of a box. And that's really very interesting. That's the first place I heard that. So, containment. Fours are also about stability, as people said, and things get ordered with that. Okay, so wonderful things. Stability, foundation, stagnation, 4 directions, seasons, yes. 4 is the elements, yes, depending upon which path you do. And by the way, I'm going to be on Purple Elephant Deb H in a couple of weeks for birthday readings. Fox with a book, stability, comfort, stagnation, celebration, stillness, meditation. Yes, 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 and yes. I like how that stagnation it was included in there because it's important to recognize while things get stable, that movement stops. It could be grounded, and that may not be something that you want. Blueprints. I like that visual. I like that visual. Yes, 4 swords in tarot. 4 dwarves in Norse mythology who held up the cardinal directions. Yes, the square. Shadow on all fours, on your hands and knees, maybe groveling. 3 pushed us away from the 2, and the 4 has us begging for stability. This is just a whim. Well, guess what, spiritual rain? I think a visual understanding and a story to understand the progression of the numbers, numerology, is a very powerful thing. So I think that is a very powerful learning tool. Um, Peter J. Watch said a push forward. Yes. Yeah, Rain, that's a great exercise. Love that. And that will probably be something that we will experience when we talk about well, we'll see it when we talk I'm looking over at Jeffrey. We'll talk about it as the fool's journey through the minor as you progress. What 1, 2, 3. So, so I think that's very helpful. And okay, yeah, it's a good visual. So this and um, Kristen Louise said. It's not popped up there. Enclosures, boundaries, yes. Uh, Connecting to the earth, love that. 4 notes on a basic chord. Jeffrey said that's music for those of us who don't know that. Isn't there a riddle of the Sphinx involving a man on 2 legs and elder with a kid? Yes, yes. Calla Lizzie is here. Hello, Calla Lizzie. Ack is here. Hello, Ack. I'm going to rewind and still be watching by the time you conclude. So you'll be moving even when, so you'll still be moving when we stop. So, yeah, Jonathan said most Western music is 4/4. So this is also fours are also think about it in there. They're a card of change, and this is where we start to see if the 3 was where we started to see the lesson, then the 4 is where each lesson gets explored because we've added to it. And I also like to think is thinking about the 4 is it's a bit of when we see the opposite of what we saw in the 3. So 4 noble truths, yes, that's true. Kristen Louise. So okay. I'm going to take a sip to see if there's any questions before I go on to the 5s. You are all adding so much to this. This is incredible. All right, let's look at 5s. Let me flip my page. Gigi Pardo Lord, I'd have to know the year of your birthday to figure that out. So, fives. Okay, four horsemen of the apocalypse list, Calla Lizzie. Naomi, for the five, disruption, at odds, chaos, practice, learning, curve. Five is when two opposing forces present themselves, forcing you to make a decision, one or the other. Well said. Strength through discord. Mhm. Peter J. Watts said, I think of quadrupeds. Jeffrey's helping me. Walk by moving their left hind leg first, followed by their left foreleg. Then they repeat the same pattern with the right leg. Um, this is a very, very interesting. I'm going to mute for. Thank you. Um, growth through disruption, yes. I can't help thinking of fives as instability. I would love to see the lighter side of the five. Mhm. Moving forward explanation. Peter, that is brilliant. This is one of the things I'm going to pause for a second and talk about how notice what's going on in the world around you. Pay attention to the numbers. Um, Today is the 1st of November. Start paying attention to the ones. And for the next 10 days, write down things that you associate with the number one in your notebook. It's a great, great way of learning. The pentagram, yes, yes. Tortoiseshell moon, a new dimension. Benji said five is Mercury, which is symbolic of the twins and the mind. Duality of choice and how choice can bring instability. Five is unconventional. Yes, that is something that is oftentimes missed. Five is unconventional. Re-examining your beliefs. Absolutely. And so, okay, so some of my notes are a five is really in when we're looking at this is the first time I have something to lose because everything's been growing. I think of the fives, there's some suggestion about karma and loss. This is an opportunity to about release and removing something. It's an opportunity for purification, and it could be it's conflict. It's oftentimes it's the first time we see a challenge, a differing opinion, a differing view, and how we have to interact with that. So, and Gigi, it's Jeffrey has put in there. You would be an 18-9. So, um, fives are also are oftentimes when we see conflict really show up. And so there's a disruption of sort. And I like to think about that is that disruption, it just takes us from the point where we were stable to now we're not stable and we have to regain something. So, um, and this is oftentimes fives are about instability. It's when we start getting to, I don't know, how do I feel about that? I've been at this for a while. Fives are the middle of the on the journey to the 10. So so there's that first time that we start to see things differently. You're welcome, Gigi. Okay. Julie Kusha Watch said five, the star patterns of the orbit of Venus. Fives have been imprinted by misogynistic views of love. Yes. Five fingers. Give me five, high five. Maybe it's about finding Validation, it certainly could be. Conflict in the mind or with others, good competition. Mhm. What about spirituality, though? We all have four elements plus their connection to spiritual, holding them together. I see this as a stability and not necessarily an instability, just my opinion. I think that's fine. I think I'm glad you're thinking about this because when we think about those fives, we really have there's that it's the conflict. It's the first time we have a conflict and we're dealing with it in that round. And so we have to balance through. So we have to plug a way through. There's conflict. We have to do some editing. So there's that. Jeffrey's deep in thought. Um, so thinking about the four was where we started to see the lesson of the really being explored. And the five is when it just kind of gets upheaval. There's a this is when, if you're looking at along the suits, this is when we start to see the first really negative aspects of what's going on with the suit. So I would think about that is this is it's conflict. It's when things get disrupted, we start to really see the negative aspects of the suit. All right. Also, requirement of facing your own shadow. Yes. Um, I see it as something following spirit is on the road less traveled. This brings instability. Think of the two outside the church in the cold. Yes. Also, a requirement of facing your own shadow. Um, Middle of the road. Okay. Earth, air, fire, water, spirit. I see stability in that. Now, the fives oftentimes are seen as negative, and I would avoid the word negative. These are the challenges that we go through. And I think that is an important thing to do. If I were to sum up I don't like to, limit to one word because I want a phrase. But challenges, it's the first time we see challenges in a suit. And challenges are also opportunities to learn. And when we do on the 21st of November, when Jeffrey's voice and I talk about the fool's journey, you'll actually see that there's also opportunity. And Ack just realized that we got married, so thank you, Ack. So, but okay. Any last thoughts about the fives? Deb H said, I think more of immaturity than negativity with five. Ooh, immaturity. I like that, Deb H. Thank you. Um, I have a writing utensil. I want to write that down on my sheet. I'm going to do it right now. Thank you. Peter J. Watts said, I'm a numerological five and I call myself the grit. Oh, I like that. That's right. It's the grit that actually can smooth things out, can move us forward. And I like that. I also think Kristen Louise asked a little bit earlier. I don't know if you're here, Kristen Louise, but how does that relate to the Hierophant? This is one of those things when we think about the Hierophant. I have yet to decide, by the way, if I'm going to do a Tarot the Stash Way, the majors, because everybody does the majors. But the Hierophant is actually a doorway. It's a way to go from the mundane world to the spiritual world. So there's a gateway. And so that's something there's an opportunity to struggle and learn something new with that. Stay tuned. Please leave a comment below if you want me to actually do the major arcana or arcana, depending upon how you want to say it. Um, those 5 wands boys tussling away. Yep. Maybe we're moving into a new time and understanding, and tarot could maybe be reimagined. Very possibly, but here's the thing with that is, Heather, as we grow and expand, I think there's a good opportunity for everybody to understand, to figure out how they interpret it, because we all have the books and they're the traditional ways of understanding. However, um, I think okay, Heather, when you make your tarot deck, use that and explore that. So, um, I did the courts. That was the first one. So I did the first one, and there's others there. Peter J. Watch said, "Walking a spiritual path with practical feet." I like that. Very, very nice. Very nice. So, all right. So let's move on to the sixes. So, thinking about sixes, when you think about sixes, what do you think about when you see sixes? What do you think in relation to numerology? Calla Lizzie, it's okay. That's why I've added the playlist below. It was the first one that I did. I may have to go back and do some more of it. Sixes. Thinking about sixes as we've gone from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, where we've actually where we've had to start learning something. Sixes, as Jeffrey said, it's about give and take, restoring balance. Very true. Six is ruled by Venus, so this one speaks of your impact on other people and their impact on you. Yes, I like that. Rain said 6. I see dice. The highest number, the luckiest number. Also think of the lovers. Harmony. Kathy said harmony. Yes. And I also, when I think of sixes, I actually think of yes, while it is all about balance, it's about the first opportunity that we have to use our gained experience. We've had this conflict or this challenge in the number 5, and in the number 6, we actually have a chance to do something with it. And so we're sharing our gained knowledge and our understanding. We're actually trying to do something with it. Spiritual shield, yes, because I like that, Peter J. Watts, because we've had this conflict and we move from the 5 into the 6. We know a bit of how to guard ourselves from that. We're a bit wiser. So I like that. Sixes, there's a roundness to 6, 3 plus 3, yes. Positive victories and memories and altruistic actions, absolutely. Rain said, lessons learned from 5s and putting that lesson into action in 6. Love that. Oh, you're welcome. Wisdom of experience. Yes. And I'm looking forward to the Fool's Journey through the Minors, because I think there is, for me, a great way to see that progression. So, and Heather said, my birth date is a 6. For me, joy and happiness. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, think about when we start getting into these higher numbers, I also like to consider when we see doubles. So a 6, we have 2 3s. So what are the aspects of the 3s? And if you double that, how does that relate to the 6? What does that do? Um, the immaturity of the 5s becomes the experience of the 6? Yes. Oh, you're welcome, Rain. Enjoy the puppies. Jeffrey said symmetry. Aha moments. Yes. And it is one of those things that as we think about those 6s, it's about what we've learned in that progression. So, um, and okay, I'm just catching up on all of my notes because um, that's how I roll. This is two trinities, so it's two threes, and it is, I think, Benabel in her writing talks about this is the need to return to the God principle, and I like that because this is also that where do we fit in? And so we might see in the 6s some idea of our psychic ability and intuition. We start to believe in that and start to experience it in our everyday life. Kathy Tortoiseshell Moon said continuity and longevity. Jonathan said the breath of release. Epiphanies, yes. Yep. So um, I want to look at one last thing. Yeah, and as we talked about, we had that conflict in the 5s. So this is that applying the lessons learned. And I think with that is what happened in the 5 is now put into action. Okay, everybody's still with me because I've got the 7s coming up. And I would like to get through all 10 of these quickly. All right, 7s. And Jeffrey said Epiphany was January 6th on the Gregorian calendar. Yes. Benji said 7 is Neptune. This is one. This one speaks of things from the past coming to harvest or to haunt you. It has been called the perfect number. 1 plus 2 plus 3. I could see that. Yep. Okay, and Peter J. Watt said 7 sacred directions. A little bit of luck. And Calla Lizzie also said lucky number 7. And yes, and I like that. Jonathan was born on the 7th. The other day in a 3-card spread, I got 2 7s. How can one gather, what can one gather from that information alone? Robin, I think you can be lucky in those aspects of that suit, depending upon which position they were in. Naomi said monitoring and controlling and navigation. 7s are about luck. I also think that, again, this is a bit about trials and being tested. This is, again, I think it's an opportunity for a bit of challenge, but we have the wisdom that we gained from the 5, or that we could have gained from the 5, as it comes there, and I think the 7s they're a bit of, is the word dichotomy. They can be lucky and challenging at the same time. So Fox with the book, nostalgia, the inner child, old friends, absolutely. I always think of the tower with the 7 and the chariot. It has a lot to do with the battle of the ego and ambition. Yes. Hello, Kiba. Good to see you. Oh, yes. And Jeffrey said, when you have a 7, remain steadfast. I think that's a good thing. So be steadfast. Kathy said, Tortoiseshell Moon, 7, new movement out of the harmonious 6. Yes. Yes. Um, the 6, not the 7. Okay. 7 directions, yes. Choice of path. I see the 7 of cups and the intuition to make a choice. Yep. Lisa Rhodes, 7 and 4 always have been lucky numbers for me. I like that. And 7 plus 4 is 11, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So you have another layer there. So, um, and thinking also about the number 7, this is again, we've had conflict in the 5s, we've learned from it, we've started to apply it in the 6. So this is that knowledge and wisdom. I like to think about you can be smart. It's the wisdom of knowing how to imply that what you know is extremely important. I think that this is when we start to elevate ourselves and move forward and move to the next level. And in the 7s, oftentimes there's a decision that has to be made. And we have, I like how Robin Wood says, in this card, the 7s, the lesson of the suit are, excuse me, the lessons of the suit are pinpointed and the seeker faces a choice. So the lessons of the suit are pinpointed and the seeker faces a choice. Kathy also said 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 metals of alchemy. Taking actions based on experience and learned knowledge, yes. And Jeffrey added, as the chariot driver, you remain in the steadfast and focus and drive forward toward the finish line. Sometimes that takes patience and looking for that lucky break. Okay, yeah. So those are the 7s. I'm going to take a sip. Everybody, encourage you to do the same. Then we have the 8s. Thinking about the 8s. Calla Lizzie added, making choices wisely, the 7 of swords, 7 of cups, etc. Absolutely. 8s. Ah, 8s. This is where the 8s are 2 4s. So everything that we had in the 4 has been expanded. This is when we take a square and we can make it into a circle. We this is the card of mastery when we're really taking our time to do something and move on. So, all right, let's see. Making choices wisely. Okay. Now, Naomi said victory, prosperity, and overcoming consequences, order and chaos. Yes. Benji said 8 is Saturn, rules over work and drive, karma as well. Rebuilding after the storm. Yes. 8. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Jeffrey added transcending limitations. Absolutely. Heather has said infinity, which is very, very nice because when you take the 8 and you turn it, it becomes the infinity symbol. The infinity symbol. The limniscat. Ooh, I'm just noble eightfold path. Yes. Building on a solid foundation, stability. Yes. This is also where I think where we have some logic that goes on, or a need for logic, because we're almost at the end of our journey through the numbers. And I think it's an important thing to keep in mind that as we're moving through those, we building a solid foundation, stability. Yes. Yeah. Language the stash way. Um, Thinking about the 8s, we only have 2 more numbers until we get to the 10. And the 8s are when you are close to getting what you want. So you have to keep moving. You have to keep going forward. 8 in the Rider-Waite-Smith is the strength, and so there's an aspect of perseverance with that. This is where you are really continuing to build up what you've gathered through the 1 through 7s, and what are you doing with that? What are you doing with those resources that you have? I think that's a key thing. And passion and fast movement, absolutely, absolutely. Um, long, patient work to build a logical framework. Yep. 8s are all about inner strength, clarity of vision. I like that. Keep on keeping on. Persevere, Jeffrey says. Persevere, Peter J. Watts. Keep on moving, 8s. Momentum. That's a good word for that as well. So I think this is when we think about the 8s also, there is an aspect of challenge with the 8s, because visually I'm now looking through the 8s, and this is where when I think about the suit, this is where the lesson becomes the most difficult, and that's where I have to persevere and I have to stick to it. So, Kathy also said regulation and forward to the goal. Yes. This is where Peter J. Watts would be very helpful when you have the grit to keep going. I think that's an important aspect of that. So, all right. Y'all are great. I hope that, thank you for still being here with me. Let's move on to the 9s. Let's look at the 9. 9s. When you think about 9s, other than Michelle Marie, whose husband is a 9, I believe, yes. No, her husband is a 3. When you think about 9s, what do you think about? We have forward to the goal, yes. We have the finish line, yes. Naomi, completion, the finality of one cycle, awareness. Peter J. Watts, 9 siblings. Peter, I am the youngest of 12. Mom and dad stopped when they got it right. So there you go. Completion, 9 worlds of Norse cosmology. Yes. Nearly there. Absolutely. And Indigo Jaguar Intuitive said awareness. Yes, Naomi. Ah, there we go. We have Deb H said the whole 9 yards. Yes. And that's an interesting thing to look up. How did that come out? 3 plus 3 plus 3. So you have 3 of the aspects of the number 3. Thinking about the 9s, for me, it's about results. This is what the manifestation of what you've been working on throughout the 1 through the 9. It's the conclusion, and there is a sense of independence of the aspect of that suit. Thinking about this is it's like, okay, now you have it. This is what you've worked on. And Kathy said complexity and possibility. Yes. So um, this is also one of those things. This is the result of all of your hard work. So when you think about this and where you've gone, this is, I think, Calla Lizzie said, this is where your work has brought you. Yes, and also implied with that is what are you going to do with it? You've achieved this. Now what? There's a sense of responsibility also. Jonathan Daly said, goals achieved. Yes. Peter J. Watt said, be careful what you ask for. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bye, Kristen Louise. So, um, so thinking about the nines, I also think of this is the nine. Somebody may have said this, but the card of revelation, and this is if we think about the journey of the suits as lessons, this is where the lesson is really obvious. Okay, this is what I have been working on, and I think that's helpful. Kathy Tortoiseshell Moon said, uh, manifestation. There's actually, yes, there's a lot of harvesting with that. Hmm. Peter, here you go. I'll put this up there so everybody can write this down. What will you do with your newly found wisdom? What are you going to do with it? Yeah. And Calla Lizzie said, careful what you build for yourself. You may paint yourself into a corner. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And Jeffrey said, it's a difficult responsibility. Yeah. Let's finish this up and talk about the tens because I am a firm believer. I believe that the nines are is the completion. The work is this is the last aspect of it. However, when you come to the tens, this is what you are living with what you've created. And I think that's an important thing. You're living with the results of your work. And this is where tens, the old stuff is done and you're waiting for something new to begin. This is the gap between starting things over. So this is the waiting period. You're living with the results, and this is you could think of this as this is the zero of the minors. So okay, let's see. Peter, I am glad you were here. Getting lots of love. And okay, so it's a difficult 10, the end of the cycle, the beginning of a cycle. Yes. I like to think of it as what do they call it? It's the jump ring. In jewelry making, you need a jump ring to be able to hang something on so it hangs correctly. So I like to think of the 10 as the jump ring. Calla Lizzie said, tens, what's next? Jeffrey said, 10, Thanksgiving, living in the moment. Time for the next thing. Ouroboros. Mm-hmm. Celebrating, yes. End of one cycle and the start of the next, yes. In the nursery rhyme about shoe buckles, 10 is the big fat hen putting one eggs all in one basket. It could be, and Robin, you bring up a really important point. Think about what you recall growing up, the songs that you listened to, the nursery rhymes, the hymns in church. Were there numbers included in them? Are there numbers in the Bible? Yes. What what power do those have? Write those down in your journal because that's what's going to give you your unique ability with the tarot. I think it's an important thing to lean into who you are and from whence you come because it what makes you a powerful reader. Return confidence and independence, leadership and determination. Yes, Naomi. Kathy Tortoiseshell Moon said the wheel turns. Yes. Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Art said achievement. Yes. And I think these are all really important things because I like to think about, this is the 10 is we're just living with it. It's the jump ring between for the next opportunity. Um, and 10 is two fives. What was going on in the five? We had some lessons to learn and we had some conflict, but it's twice the 5, so it now becomes secure. So, um, and it's the end and the beginning all at the same time. So, um, tens are about the logical conclusion, and the lessons of the suit are brought to their logical conclusion, is what Robin Wood says. So, in this card, the tens, the lessons of the suit are brought to their logical conclusion. So, the new tarot soap opera, As the Wheel Turns. Love that. Purple Elephant Deb H said, bringing your own experience to numerology makes a lot of sense. It can shade your interpretation and make them uniquely yours. I would say it would color them and make them quite beautiful, and so beautiful people are going to be interested in see it. So Tony, Intuitive Tarot and Jewelry said, you made your move and there's no return when it comes to the 10. There is oftentimes a sense of exhaustion in the tens because you're living with what's going on. Think I'm trying to not talk about specific cards. So, but yes, there can be because you're living with it, and it's kind of like Saturn. We have a whole lot to learn, and it is what you need. Is it what you needed to know? What will it bring you? Yeah. From 1 to 10, is 0 the beginning or the end, or neither or both? Robin asked. It's both. It's both. Hi, Linda Sandoval. Good to see you. Wow, that was a lot of information in a very short amount of time. I applaud you for sticking with me through that. And so if I'm going to ask any questions that you have about the 1 through 10. I'll stay on a few more minutes because I know a whole lot of people are doing things. So I want to make that available. And I will say, so this is my view of basic numerology. You can use this, you can ignore it. I would encourage you to, as you are taking your notes, that you pay attention to what your associations are with those numbers, and that association evolves and grows and expands and metamorphosizes into new things when you pick up a book. You can, you know what? You could probably, well, you could, I know you could type into the interwebs, because we have those things, and you could type in that number and you could find out all sorts of things. What does that number 5 mean? And in that, you read that, you find out about the history of that number and what it means and the spiritual significance in different cultures. And by the way, this is where, when you spend a little bit of time learning and asking questions and getting curious about other cultures, spiritual paths, spirituality, you get a broader understanding. So, um, Peter J. Watts, I took a lot of notes. If I use any of these definitions in my oracle, I want to be able to cite the origin. I hope that's okay. Peter, yes, and I owe you a message with my contact info. So, Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Art said, maybe it's all. It could be all. Naomi, thank you for being here. I will be adding notes to my stuff from what you said. Robin said, look for multiple numbers in spreads, number sequences, add up numbers, and see where that leads you. Yes, I think that's an interesting thing, because if let's say you're doing a 5-card spread, and in that 5-card spread, you have a sequence of numbers. You have a 4, 5, and a 6. Pay attention to that. What's the evolution? You're welcome. You're welcome, Deb H. I was just about to say, I might journal a page of meanings. Yes. Oh, Calla Lizzie. How do you work out your life path number? Is it your date of birth added up? It is. There's several ways to do it, and the Mary K. Greer in Tarot for Yourself. You can borrow this from your library, probably. My copy I actually had bound. Um, it takes you through that, but yes, it is your date of birth, and you can probably search it on the interwebs. Your date of birth added together, so you stack it like in elementary school. Month, month, day, year, and then total those up, and then total them across is how I do it. Patterns are so important, and this is not only eye-opening, but super helpful. Thank you all for your intuitive wisdom. People are great here. Oh yes, Robin said Enriquez seems to look at number sequences in terms of increases and decreases, energy or activity increasing or waning. Yes. Jeffrey said, if you're going to add numbers in this spread, I suggest a 3-card spread. LOL. You're welcome, Fox with the book. Also, pay attention to repetitive numbers in your reading. Yes, because we can talk about what you can do with that. If you're doing a 10-card spread and you have 3 7s, something's going on there. Something's going on there. Lorraine is a 9. I am a 9 as well. So you're welcome, Heather. And Robin is going, now get out your cards and your calculators. But again, with numerology, I will just say you can pay attention to it, you can use it, you can ignore it, you can use it when you need to. I am a visual person, so a lot of times when I'm reading and depending upon the cards, sometimes I pay attention to the shape of the numbers on the cards because then, depending upon how I've laid the spread out, it may create an indication of a number in the colors or the shadows, visually speaking. So, and so therein lies that. So, everyone, thank you so very much for being here. Everyone who has been lurking. What's coming up next is, and by the way, go to Longman Tarot. Longman Tarot. Go like and subscribe to his channel, Longman Tarot, because Richie is hosting a birthday live for me on Friday, November 4th. My birthday is on the 3rd. And go over and like and subscribe to his channel. Show him some love and click the notification so that you can do that. There should be, I don't know exactly what's going on, but it should be fun. Calla Lizzie is a 2. And Jeffrey said, I'm glad I was off work to participate. Yes. Robin said, this session has given me an epiphany about my own significator, 3 of Wands, which I'll likely discuss in a future video log. That's beautiful. And Lorraine said, when I researched my number, it was spot on. Yeah. Totally guilty. Deck modding. Are you deck modding the out of hand? Kathy is a tortoiseshell. Kathy, tortoiseshell moon is a 4. Lovely. Thank you. So next up, that is going on. I've got some other things in the work. I have a deck casual for the Pulp Tarot with Amy from Mystic Rose Tarot. Perhaps we will see Heather in a upcoming video as we talk. If you are interested in having a conversation with me about how you are learning tarot, let me know. I'd love to see it. Bye, Sherry. Take care. Yep, final rounding. Okay, there you go. I want to know how you're edging it. So I encourage you to look for things on online. Look at the wonderful people who've created resources available for you. Like and subscribe to them. Say thank you. I'm glad to be part of this, and so um, Calla Lizzie has the pulp tarot. So all right, everyone, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Consider paying attention to your the numbers as they show up. So everyone, take care and have a great rest of your day. Bye.